Hey guys, SGT Nickel here. Today I wanted to show you the cleaning process of a 1022 Ruger. Well, actually it's not really cleaning, it's more just like the field strip. The barrel is real simple. All you do is undo this and undo that screw. Barrel comes off. Clean the barrel just with rag oil, your bore brush, all that, wire brush. Just like a normal gun. That doesn't change. You got your springs inside here. Make sure that's just oiled and clean and not sticking. That's really all you need to do with that. Make sure your sights are clean, and that's that. So I'm not going to get into that too much. The one I'd like to get into is this piece. This is a little complicated for, well, it's not complicated, it's more finicky. So it's just one screw that you take down just right there. You need a flathead on this one. I don't know about all models, but this one, it's a flathead. We're just going to unscrew that. It's pretty simple. I'm a little tired, sorry, I've tried this a few times and I've been interrupted and I haven't been able to do this full video, so bear with me. So you just push on the trigger guard once this is fully off. You'll know it's off when you pull the gun and it doesn't pull the screw in. So that's off. Now you just take your trigger guard and you're just going to push with your thumb and it'll come out. Be careful because there's these little spacer that wants to come out. That's important. It's going to stop your hammer from coming too far back and possibly jamming. Now, as far as this goes, what I like to do is bring your action forward and just let it set. You don't want to pull your trigger because you're going to fire your hammer and that's just going to get in the way. So, 2 cotter pins, that's all you got to take out. This and that. That's it. It's on the silver side. Once the spacer falls out, it usually just falls out. You take your cotter pins, just give them a light little push, and your trigger group should come out very simple. So I got the 2 cotter pins out and my trigger group comes out. So you just clean that up. Now there's this little piece. Now be very careful with everything because there's little fucking cotter pins all over the place that want to fall out, and one just did on me. It makes everything extremely difficult. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to fuck around with these things, because if you lose it, you're never going to get your gun back together. So there, that's back together, and as you can see, this guy likes to float around. He's a bit of a pain in the ass. Make sure he sits in that groove. There's a little groove there. Make sure he just sits in there like so. And get this right off to the side and out of the way. You don't want to be mucking around with it. This guy, he's tricky. He just slides on a spring. Basically, you want to pull it right back and give a little bit of a wiggle, and it should all just come apart. Bolt comes out, and your action, or the receiver, whatever, the part you grab. I really don't know what they call it. I don't think it matters. It's just another part, but it's important. You want to make sure that the spring on it's clean, and your bolt, you want to make sure your extractor here is clean. Your firing pin where the hammer hits the firing pin, you push that with your fingernail and just make sure it moves and doesn't stick. Oil it up, wipe it down, put it back together. This guy, as you can see, just drops into place. Sits like so, and he sits inside this, facing like so. With that grabber there, you can see the spring right back here, but it's not going to go in unless you do it this way. So what I like to do is I just take my receiver, you put the spring inside it and just let it sit like so, and you can see he's just sitting on that peg. just like so. And he's just going to sit there. Now I'm going to grab my receiver here. I'm just going to pull it all the way back and set it like so. So you can see this is all open, and my finger's holding the catch that you grab to hold this back on the spring. And then we're going to put this in place, trying to drop the notch on top. You're going to need to let it go. Whoops. Sorry, I just have to pull this back again. It's sprung forward on me. Like I said, this is a little finicky, but definitely not impossible. Sorry. There we go. Damn it. I'm just going to try it one more time because it keeps moving on me and it's tricky, like I said. But just have to have patience with these things. If you get impatient, it's just going to make it more difficult. So. Fuck. It just doesn't, trying to bind on that spring for some reason. There we go. Okay. Like I said, it's tricky, but if you're patient, you'll get it. So just slide that into place and it's in. Now we're going to take our trigger grouping. I'm just going to make sure this tab's forward, and he's going to slide on that like so, so this guy can move back and forth. Put your cotter pins in first. They're a little tricky sometimes to line up, but just line them up. They should go in mostly just with your hands. You shouldn't have to hammer them in there. If you're really finding you have to hammer them in there, you're probably doing it wrong. So there, those are in place. Now your spacer goes in. That's important, you don't want to forget it. And that goes in like that. Now we're ready to drop her into the stock. We just place her in and push gently. You want the spacer to be inside the stock like it is. I just press down on my hand, make sure it's snug, and then we start turning that screw. And that's really all you're going to have to do. I'll show you how to check it over, make sure we did it right, because sometimes it doesn't always work, but voila. There we go. Lock it into place, open, close. There, it works. So I just testing the firing pin. I don't want to dry fire it, so what I do is I just hold it ever so slightly, pull trigger, and I catch it with my hand. That way we're not slamming the firing pin against anything. In this case, because the barrel's off, I don't think you are, but I don't want to risk it. So anyway, that's your 1022. And as you can see, I'm just going to put the barrel back together, and it's together. So I'm sorry about the lighting conditions. I know it's crappy. This isn't my normal place. I'm going to school. I'm in a different place. It's not my place. I'm just just here. So anyways, hope that video helps, and yeah, thanks for watching.